Okay, good to see you all, and I hope we are ready for today's session.
Yes,
If
sir.
yeah, if we are, then a few people raised questions in our group. I think we've been able to answer those. So we continue from where we left. Okay, I think we have a good number now. Can we start? Um, okay, yesterday we talked about the factors influencing mental health, and we mentioned biological factors, psychological factors, and environmental or social factors. Okay. I made a summary of how the biological makeup of an individual affects their mental health, and if any of those biological makeup is altered, how it leads to a corresponding abnormal behavior, and that's what we call biology of human behavior. Okay, and the major thing that happens in our biology that is related to our behavior is happens in the brain and the central nervous system. Okay, other systems also affect, like endocrine system, how hormones are produced into the system, and how, if any of those is altered, can also lead to a problem in the behavior of an individual. Okay. Then we talked about physical health. If someone has any ailment, it can lead to a problem outside, and that's where we talked about comorbidity. Comorbidity is when an illness in the body leads to another illness or leads to another corresponding behavior. Corresponding abnormal behavior, and that shows outside. I told you that even though some of these factors are biological, their symptoms are behavioral. They are external. People see the behavior, and that's when we know that something is happening inside. Okay. All right. We also talked about how expectations, what we call reward, system, what we call, um, you know, response to reward. Yeah, response to reward. When your expectations, when your reward is higher than your expectation, how you are excited. There is a whole hormone or neurotransmitter, responsible for that, sending a signal to your brain that makes you to be excited. It releases what we call dopamine into the system and makes you excited. And then when the expectation, when the reward is low, the dopamine is reduced, and you are not excited. So all those influence our behavior, and if they are altered, it can lead to abnormal behavior. Then we talked about psychological factors, low esteem, and all of that. We talked about society, but I'm starting from where we stopped. That what influences mental health in Nigeria or in Africa especially is cultural. Other things also influence biology. We have biological factors, we have psychological factors, but majorly we all agreed, yesterday, that cultural or societal factors affect mental health in Nigeria the most. Okay, and I told you that you should look for examples. I think that the only example we were able to talk about yesterday was the example of parents expecting their children to be their what do they call it now? Their retirement package, or what do they call it? They train their children with the mind that when they are old, the children will take care of them. Yes, it's good, but we said that it shouldn't be a pressure on the children. Here, where I live, everybody, you see an old man or old woman driving him or herself. I know lack of education and poverty, is also a contributor in Nigeria or in Africa. You see old people doing their things, everybody is on his or her own. That doesn't mean children are not taking care of them or doing, but they are not expecting, from the children. So the children don't have those, that pressure or stress on them. So that's that. So I told you to look for other examples. That's where we'll stop. In the next 5 minutes, can we? I have a couple of examples here with me, but I want us to discuss what other examples do we have in our society. In different tribes, different communities that put pressure, especially on children and on young people. Can we say? Can we cite those examples? Yes, let me hear from you. Are we there? Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, can we
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
We can hear you.
Oh my. Hello, is someone talking? Sunday, I can hear me. Are you talking?
We can hear you. We can hear
Okay,
Yes,
you.
sir.
someone said pressure to get married. Yes, yes, that's a good example. Uh, you know, yes, someone said you can hear you. All right, all right. So the pressure to get married, that you should marry at certain age. When you are getting close to 30, that pressure is there that you should go and get married. I remember it also happened to me, and and I had to manage it. I said, see, you are just saying I should get married. You are not the one that would yeah, take care of my family. So the pressure to get married. Yes, any other example? Any other example? Can we have
Um,
other
uh,
examples? Okay, parental factor. Yes, that's what we are discussing. Comparing children to others. Yes, that's another societal factor. Comparing children to children, and I will talk a bit on that. When your children, when some other children are getting admission into a school, and you're saying your own child should also get to school that year, even if they are offering that child a course that he or she doesn't like, then why not wait for another year? Why not do some other things and prepare the child for it? So the pressure, even the pressure of double promotion, is something I've written on, I've written against so many times. Yeah, I don't know who started that idea of a double promotion. It's more pressure on that child, and the child will not be at the same age with others, and you will not be able to be emotionally stable in the future. And that's why you see young people committing suicide, because they cannot manage the pressure they are going through because of their age. You see, the 8-year-old, 9-year-old in GS1. I don't know who started that idea. It's a bad thing in our society. I heard that there are some tribes that their husband must build house or buy car for the bride's parents before they allow him marry. Yes, yes, that there are it get to some tribes. I don't want to mention names now. I say the amount, the money they collect, or the things they collect from the groom, or from their groom's parents, is something that scares young people away. And the way they look for money to get married is so scary. So those things are there. Those things are there. All right, let me see other examples I have here. The societal expectations on men. Example is that men must be strong and not cry. That's another example. Our society thinks men should be strong. A man should not cry. A man should take every pressure in, and and not share with anybody. And you see young people doing all sorts of things, going into smoking, alcohol, in order to overcome pressure or stress they are passing through. And before you know it, they already have mental illness. So that is an example. Another example is the family or societal expectations on young couples. You see, even in our prayers that we pray when they are young couples are getting, when young people are getting married. Is there oṣù mẹ́sàn-án káwá bá yín kó mọ, they're saying in the next 9 months that we are coming to do a naming ceremony, as though the sex they will have on their wedding night should lead to pregnancy. And after 9 months, when there is no child, you see parents asking them, what happened? Hope you are having sex, you are having sex every day, regularly, hope everything is fine. Have you gone to see the doctor? Have all this pressure on young people, the pressures are there, and is something that leads to mental distress if not well managed. Another thing is body shaming, and that's common on social media. Body shaming, then flaunting affluence of the riches, money, talking about money, flaunting things, flaunting cars, property, and many people cannot handle that, especially young people go into depression because they see their mates doing well. They don't know that the life on the social media is a fake life. If you don't know that, you will think people are getting more successful than you are. Many people just want you to see what they are putting across. The life they are living outside social media is not it's not the one they are showing you. So those examples are there in our society. In the Western world, nobody cares. If you like buy 10 cars, you are the owner of your money. You will pay tax, and when you will pay tax on all of them. To park your car alone, you will pay money for it. So if you are flaunting, you are just telling people, oh, I have many expenses. I have many expenses on my neck every month or every day. Yeah, you pay your insurance every month. Not unlike in Nigeria or in Africa that everything is is free of charge. So here, nobody cares. In fact, you want to introduce yourself, say I'm Professor so I'm nobody cares. Whatever success you have achieved, they think you deserve it, and I deserve my own too. Everybody is good and all of that. So there's nobody that cares in such a way that will lead to depression. What leads to depression here is maybe racial violence and all of that. So racial discussion, when it comes to discrimination about some races and all of that. When it comes to what again, like we said yesterday, there are psychological things that lead to mental illness in the Western world, unlike in our own place, the majorly cultural. So I hope I've been able to tell us some other examples now. So if you also have some other examples, you can type and let us see them as we continue. All right. So are we here? Can you hear me? Are we on the same
Yes, we
page?
can.
Can we
Yeah, we're on the
continue
same
for
page, sir.
today?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
sir. We're on the same page, sir.
Is it that people are not talking, or you are not you can unmute yourself so that you talk to me? I want to hear you. I want to know
Good evening,
that
sir. We can
you
hear you,
can hear
sir.
me.
We can hear
We
you,
hear
sir.
you,
We
sir.
can hear
Okay.
you.
Good evening, sir. We
All
can
right.
hear you, sir.
Thank you. All right,
Hello,
so
sir.
let's go. Today I want to start with some facts so that we will know what we are dealing with. If you don't know the level of the
Yes, sir.
gravity of a problem or a challenge, you may not know the urgency that you have to attack or to treat that challenge. I want to give out some
We can
facts.
hear you, sir.
In 2019, one in every eight people, according to WHO, in 2019, one in every eight
We
people
can hear
were
you.
living with a mental disorder. One in every eight people. So if eight of you are gathered, whether in your classroom or in church, or if eight of you are gathered, just know that one out of the eight of it, may be you or any other person, one out of those eight have a mental disorder. Okay, and that represents 970 million people around the world. 970 million people around the world. And what caused that mental disorder in 2019? Anxiety and depressive disorders. Anxiety and depressive disorders. Because of COVID-19, many other things happened. Let's look at them. So, what specifically affected people? Depression affected 264 million people in 2019. Then bipolar disorder affected 45 million people in 2019. Dementia affected 50 million people. 50 million people. Okay. Then schizophrenia and other psychosis affected 20 million people. And that's according to WHO in 2022. So then in 2020, the number increased by 26% and 28% respectively because of the COVID-19 pandemic. 26%, that is, those people who were affected by anxiety increased with 26%, and those who were affected by depressive disorders were increased in 28%. All right, so result of COVID-19. So we are in the post-pandemic era now. You see people being affected with mental illness as a result of what they experienced during COVID-19. Odun Ayo Dutola, I can hear you. Can others hear me? Let me see if that's a general problem. Can you hear me? If you can hear me,
Yes, sir.
can you
Yes,
just
loud and
talk or type? Let
We
me
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear, yeah, I can hear you from
general problem.
Hear you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Odun Ayo Odutola said we can hear you clearly. Okay. That means it's your network. So, all right. So those are the facts that we have in our hand, and that tells us the fact that what we are doing is very, very essential. Helping ourselves, then helping others to overcome mental illness or distress in our society is very, very real. The only problem, like I said yesterday, is that in Nigeria, in Africa, we don't take statistics. We don't present ourselves for treatment. People don't go for therapy, and all of that. And because we don't take statistics, we might think, it's not a problem. It's a big problem. If people go for testing, if people go for therapy, you will see that the percentage we have in Africa will even be higher than what we have in the Western world. All right, so yeah. Can we look at other names we can call mental distress? Mental distress is also called mental breakdown, mental disability, mental disease, mental health condition, mental illness, nervous breakdown, psychiatric disorder or disability, psychological disorder or disability. So all these names, when you hear people talk about them, you know that they are talking about the same thing. People just give them different names, and at times, because we don't want to sound discriminatory, we like hiding. I mean, looking for better names or sweet names to call them. So, but they are talking about the same thing. However, mental illness might not necessarily be a psychiatric problem. Okay, at times it might not be, and that's why at times when you when you look healthy, when you look good, that doesn't mean you don't have mental distress, and that's why we use distress. When you are distressed, when you are stressed out, you will also need therapy. You also need someone to take care of you or to talk to. All right, so that doesn't mean you are a psychiatric patient, okay? Because we'll be talking about these things now, and you will say, all right, yeah, I wrote down here. Do you believe in the saying everybody has their own time of mental illness? You must have heard people say everybody has 5 minutes of madness. Everybody has his 5 minutes of madness. Every day you exhibit that. You see people at times that is gentle now. Why is it that he's shouting today? Why is it that you see some people they are looking good, they are dressing well, but when they talk or they address issues with anger and all of that, you say, what happened? I thought you were well. Yeah. So I said before you answer, check the following list. So we'll be going through the list now. You will be checking if you have if one or two has happened to you before. That means you've also it's to tell us that everybody is vulnerable to this what we are discussing. So it's not about people at the psychiatric hospital or people exhibiting it actively in our neighborhood. Everybody must be careful, and that's because stress is around us. I told you yesterday what brings all these factors together, whether biological or psychological or environmental, is stress. Stress, the influence of stress, the stress that our society puts on us, the stress that we put on ourselves, the stress that our biological makeup puts on us. Stress is all around us, and that's to tell us that everybody is prone to mental illness. Okay. Now, the first thing I'll talk about before I continue, are we on the same page? Are we getting me? Is it
Yes, sir.
getting more interesting?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on the same page, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to see more people responding. Are we following?
On
Yes,
sync.
sir. We are
Yes,
following,
yes,
sir.
One,
sir, we
you,
are
the
following.
caller is not getting me. Can we please let me help me tell her that our network has problem? That's why she cannot hear me. She keeps saying she
Yes,
cannot
we are
hear
with you,
me.
sir.
Please help me tell her. Whoever is behind whoever is moderating, please let me tell her. Maybe send a message to her that our network has problem. All right. So eating disorder. That's the first thing. Eating disorder. Yes, many people categorize mental illness. Some people categorize them into four. Some people, but to make it simpler, let's just name them one after the other. I have about 10 of them, and let's see their characteristics or other names that people call them, or examples under each category. All right. So let's see. Number one, eating disorder. Eating disorder. And you see this portraying itself or presenting itself as loss of appetite. That may be loss of appetite. If you are suddenly you just lose appetite for food, you just lose appetite. You are the type that eats very well, but suddenly you just realize that you just don't like eating again. Or you see someone like that, it might be a sign of mental illness, but it may not be. Okay, I told you yesterday, mental illness is something that is very, very difficult to handle at times because many factors are coming together. So when you present yourself for therapy, for instance, or for counseling, we can't just say, oh, you are suffering from mental illness. We have to check different things. You have do okay, Chino Achebe's short story titled The Madman says every human being, yeah, yeah, that every human being has a degree of madness. That's right. Okay, so we have to check different things before we can conclude. So loss of appetite might be one. Then avoidance restrictive food intake disorder, ARFID. It means selective eating disorder. When you start picking, when you start selecting that, I don't want to eat this, I want to eat that. So it might be a sign. It might be that your body is restricting you from eating some food as a result of stress on your body. Okay. That's another thing is anorexia. Sorry, you might be listening to the voice of my son. He's a professor. He wants to join me in making presentation. So don't worry, just follow. So anorexia nervosa is another thing. It's an intense fear of gaining weight. When people are conscious of their weight, and they are saying, I don't want to eat too much so that my weight will not, I won't add weight. They are just being careful unnecessarily. Do you understand? Any little thing is, yeah, I've added weight. I don't want to eat too much, and you see them, shedding weight. You see them, you see their weight going down gradually, becoming lean unnecessarily. It may be anorexia nervosa. Okay, it's an intense fear of gaining weight. It's not even about watching their weight that is the problem, but the fear that follows it. They are so afraid that they are adding weight. Okay, so it might be an eating disorder. So check it. Has it happened to you before? If it has happened to you before, just comment that this is happening to me, or this has happened to me before and it was a serious problem. This is how I overcame it. Even if you have not overcome it, just let us know. So that there can be follow up, or we can also answer some questions that surround it. So if it has happened to you, let me know. Okay. All right. Number 2 that I put down here is weight disorder. Weight disorder, and the common one is obesity. Okay. You see people gaining weight too much. Okay, it has happened to me before. All right. So too much weight, we'll come back to it later. Okay. Too much weight, they are adding weight. You are the one that you are not, suddenly within a few weeks, within a few months, you have added weight more than necessarily. It might be as a result of stress. It might be as a result of mental distress. Okay. So you see some people, when they are passing through something challenging, you see them eating too much. Yeah, it can come, eating too much, or they don't eat at all. You see them eating everything, and they are gaining weight. They are not watching their weight because they are tired of life. They are tired of their body. They are tired of everything that is happening to them, and they feel like whatever happens will happen. Just leave me. I just want to I just want to rest. Okay. So obesity can also be a form of mental illness. Okay. Number 3, drastic change in sleeping habits. Drastic change in sleeping habits, and this presents itself as insomnia or hypersomnia. Okay, so insomnia is when people lose sleep. They don't sleep as often as they used to do. They lose. It is currently happening to me. However, my wife has been supportive in ensuring that my feeding pattern is managed properly, and the rate at which I am being stressed out is managed. Also, sleeping habit is not left out. All right, okay. Sorry about that, and thank God for your supportive wife. And it's very, very essential. Essential when we are passing through something that is affecting our mental health. It's good to have someone. In fact, that's the first approach. That's the first best approach. To have someone to talk to have someone to be there. Love. Recently, my wife met someone in a salon, and the person said she was tired and she wanted to commit suicide. Yeah, you can imagine that. And may I tell you that my wife is also a counseling psychologist, and so we do this together. The person wanted to commit suicide, and that's because she is obese. And she, at the age of 30, over 30 or thereabout, she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have anybody asking her out and all of that. And Please, if you are losing sleep or we have eating disorder, let's check it. Let's speak, talk to someone, and let people help us. Okay, so insomnia, when people lose sleep, or hypersomnia, when people sleep too much. When you sleep too much, it can also be as a result of distress. It can also be as a result of something happening to your mental health, and it calls for attention. It happens a lot. It happens a lot, and let's be careful. Let's run to others. Number four, addictions. Yes, when people are uh, stressed, or when people are facing challenges, they can be addicted to things. They can be addicted to things, and that's because there are some activities that you do that excite you. Okay, like I said, everybody wants to be excited, and when you are excited, I told you that there's a neurotransmitter. Example is dopamine that is released into your system, so that a signal will be sent to your a brain that this person to interpret it as happiness, or joy. So people want to engage in activities that will make them to be excited, and sometimes different things can be done at that moment. Some people listen to music, some people engage in sex, some people engage in some people pray, some people dance, some people engage in substance use, sex, masturbation, pornography, and all of that. Okay, so now the challenge there is that some of these things I've mentioned can be addictive. People can be addicted to some of them. Some of them can be addictive. Some others may not be. When you listen to music, I don't think there is any negative addiction in that. Only that you may waste your time. You may waste the time you spend on other things. You may waste it on music, or so. But some other ones lead to negative addiction. And I think when it is addiction, it means you can't control yourself. Without doing it, you can go on with life. So, and that makes it negative. Okay, so substance use, like drugs, like alcohol, is what many young people do, and it affects their problem. And let me quickly explain how it affects it. When you take some drugs, when you take some alcohol, they excite you, and your body will respond to it like an emergency. So quickly, the dopamine will be released. It means anytime you take that drug or alcohol, that neurotransmitter will be sent to your brain that this is so. It did not get to a time that, because you are addicted to it, it is too much. Your body has recognized it as a substance. So it will get to a time that your body will not recognize it again. Dopamine will not be released again, or when it is released, it will not be enough for your body again. So the brain will not interpret it again as a time of excitement. So the more you take it, you will not be excited, and you want to take more, so that kini you go can feel high. Now I'm not feeling high, so you'll be taking more, and your body is not recognizing it anymore. Do you understand? Your body is not, your body is restricting again. So it's not recognizing it as something that should make you happy again, because you have taken it over and over and over and over and over. Your body has recognized it as though it was part of your body. Do you understand? So the body doesn't recognize it again as a foreign object. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Okay, so that's what happens when people are addicted to drugs and alcohol, when they are addicted to sex, when they are addicted to masturbation, when they are addicted to pornography. So it will get to a time that you will not be satisfied any longer. So, and you want to do it every time, you don't want to do it every minute, so it now becomes a problem that you cannot control. Do we understand? So when we see people such, it's a problem. It's a big problem, but it can be solved. It can be solved gradually. I'm not permitted to talk about solution today because other people also have their sessions. I don't want to delve into their sessions. Okay, someone said I do have insomnia. Insomnia mostly when I'm pregnant, and after putting to bed too, I still battle with it. Yeah, I understand that when people put to bed, a lot of challenges follow. But gradually, with the help of specialists, professionals, help of the spouse, gradually those things phase out. Okay, so sorry about that. And I hope that it goes quickly, as soon as you start breastfeeding, as soon as people come over to help you, gradually that thing goes away. Sorry about that. Okay, so but you can still talk to medical professionals to counsel you appropriately. Okay, so because it varies from one person to the other, then we have to know the time you lose sleep and all of that. So it's not something we can finalize immediately here. So now, so I've told you about addictions. That's what many young people go through, and that's because their expectations are not met at times. So they want to cover it up. They want to feel high. They want to go to another realm so that they forget their problem. But as the Bible says it, and as our traditional intelligence or wisdom says, that when you do all those things, you forget your sorrow temporarily. But when that drug or that alcohol goes off your eyes, you come back to your problem. You come back to those. So why not face the challenge? Face it squarely, by engaging others, by talking to others, and that so that problem can be solved rather than covering it up and you pick it up again. Okay, so any question on the addiction? Before we continue, any question on the addiction? Because I know it's something that young people face a lot, and I know many young people are here. Okay, so is there any problem? Is there any question rather under substance abuse? Sex, masturbation, pornography, and all of that. Any question before we continue? All right. How can we help those facing addiction, sir? Well, I said again, I don't want to talk about problem, solution here, because it's not my session. So that you will find the next session interesting, and so that we won't waste time. I think we should leave it for another person who wants to handle that. But there are things that we can do. There are some therapeutic interventions that we can make on many people that are facing addictions. Okay, probably if we still have time after my discussion, we might discuss a few of them. Okay, number 5. Schizophrenia. Okay, schizophrenia is also a common thing, and I think we touched that yesterday a bit. It presents itself in the form of hallucination. See people like I shared with you in the story of my sister who was seeing different things, because she had a problem with her eyes, and it made her to see things. So the people have visual hallucination. Then as a result of past experiences and all of that, people can also memory can come as a form of flash. People remember things they have seen in the past or that has happened to them in the past. Then it makes them see things repeatedly, and it's scattered, that they cannot place in different compartments, and it leads to problem. It also presents itself as a form of disorganized thinking or behavior. So thinking is meant to have short-term memory, have memory. This thing and go here. Like, okay, friends about here, here. Things about chemistry, physics is here. Counseling is Can you hear me now? I lost my network. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Connection
sir.
at a point.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened again. So when things are disorganized in people's brain and they can't think right, they can't think straight, it becomes a problem, and that can be schizophrenia. It presents itself like that. Then extreme agitation, when people are just one on one, they want something but they can't say specifically what they want. Okay, and it must have happened to a few people here before. If you remember, you just need to think, okay, what do you need? Tell me what you need. I don't know what I need, but I know I need something. Okay, so when it now continues over a long period of time, that's when it is a problem. Okay, when it just happens for a few minutes, and you take your bath or you cool down or you do one thing you like best, and it goes off, there's no problem about that. But when it happens again and again, when the intensity and the depth of it, that is the way it happens, and the frequency, when the intensity and the frequency is not getting longer, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next one, because I can see the time is ticking, and people will ask problems. I mean, people will have questions. People will ask questions. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Mood disorders. Just write down your questions so that at the end of the day we can discuss. Mood disorders is the next one. And this one also is a common thing. You see people saying I have mood swing, I have this, I have that. Okay, so it presents itself in the form of a depression. People are depressed, and that leads to suicidal thoughts. Again, you will see it as an example if it's not treated early. Okay, depression. Bipolar is a form of maniac depression. It's a form of depression that is taking too long a time to go away. It's an uncontrollable emotional highs and lows. Bipolar, and that's why they call it bipolar. It presents itself in two extremes. It can be extreme right, extreme to the right, or extreme to the left. That is, one can be so high that the person cannot control his emotion, and one can be so low, depressed, that the person cannot control. It's an uncontrollable emotional highs and lows. Okay, then we have cyclothymic disorder. That's also a form of it looks like bipolar, but it is controllable. It's a controllable emotional highs and lows. That one, you are excited suddenly, so excited that but very soon you are able to control yourself, or you are so depressed, but very soon you can come out of it again. So it's cyclothymic disorder. Okay, excessive anger. Yeah, excessive anger. I said the classwork I'm giving to you is that in all of these examples, just be checking it. Be checking it with your life and your living. Okay, have I experienced this before? Okay, this what happens so time. Okay, this one. So that's one of the gains of this session. Okay, so you'll be able to juxtapose between your life and these things we are discussing, and see, okay, have I experienced this before? Okay, if I experience it tomorrow, or how should I handle it, or what can I do so that it will not happen to me? All right. So, or when someone is since we are volunteers, since we are it means we want to help others. So if you know all these things, you'll be able to help others. So excessive anger, and that's what many people do. Excessive anger. At times you must have done it before. You say, this has gone too in too much for me. Okay, so another one is sense of hopelessness. Sense of hopelessness, and that is common in Nigeria. The government is not giving hope. There is no hope. Or, you say everybody's a government on its own. You use your money to send your children to school, use your money to do borehole yourself, use your money to get electricity for yourself, use your money. People even still use their money to buy jobs in Nigeria. If it's possible, you will use your money to do your own role. It's even happening. People contributing money to do their, the road leading to their neighborhood. You see, so people's, what hope do we even have in this country? You understand? So at times, you may lose it all and say, well, what hope do I even have in this life? You are it's transfer of aggression from your country to life generally, as though that's how life is generally. So there's nothing that is, I'm not enjoying life anymore, and you see that it leads to suicidal thoughts. That if I claim my life, but who tells you that where you are going to is better than life here? Because if someone claims he's alive, the person cannot go to heaven. The person cannot go to, so where that person is going is even more terrible than life here. Do we understand now? So that's an encouragement for anybody who is thinking about claiming he's alive. That I'm discouraging you from doing it. I'm encouraging you by saying this place is better than where you are going to. Hellfire is more terrible than life that you think is bad, and that's how you can counsel people that have suicidal thoughts. Okay, I've said enough about that. Let me move to the next one. Anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder. Let me see if someone is saying anything so that we won't miss anything. I do have excessive anger. Okay. I exhibited excessive anger a few times, or I exhibit excessive anger a few times. Okay. Okay, maybe it was in the past I exhibited excessive anger a few times. Okay. Yeah, it's a problem when we the Bible even says that anger does not produce any righteousness. Okay, so there's no way you get angry that when you come out of it you won't regret it. Especially when you make that anger control you and you say something out or you act. Yeah, it's good to be, the Bible even says that we should get angry, but don't let your anger to last long. That's why I said you should not allow the sun to set when you are angry. It means when you are angry in the morning, by the time it's evening or afternoon, let the anger go down gradually. Okay, and one of the things we can do too is that when you are angry, don't say anything. When you are angry, don't send messages. Message, you cannot erase message. When you are angry, just make sure you wait till the time you see the person so that you talk about it. Don't send messages. Don't call when you are angry. Okay, then don't let the anger go before you talk. The way you talk or you react when you are angry is different from the way you do so when you are not angry. Okay, then at times when you are angry too, you can pray, and you can do some other things, listen to music. I also exhibit fear. If I climb high rise building, we will get to the issue of fear very soon. Okay, so let's go to anxiety disorder. Yeah, this is where we'll talk about fear. Okay, so you see it presenting itself in the form of panic. People are afraid. They are, the panic is too high. Then obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. OCD is a form of anxiety disorder. When you do things and it doesn't get good in your eyes, it's like perfectionist problem. At times, you do things, you want to repeat it again. You are obsessive that you want to do it again and again so that it becomes better and all of that. It's a good thing, but it becomes a problem when you don't finish it and it leads to another problem and all of that. So phobia, fear of this, fear of that, fear of crowd, fear of water, fear of heights, fear of darkness, fear of different. We have different phobia that people exhibit, and the best way to solve it is what we call flooding. There is a there's an intervention that we of defense mechanism that we use for people who are afraid of something. We flood them with that thing gradually. That is, for instance, now someone is afraid of hospital, maybe because someone has died before and she or he or she has witnessed it before. So what we do is that, today now we may take the person to the neighborhood of that hospital, and the person will not know. Later, we tell the person, "Do you know where we went to the other time? The place is close to so hospital." Tomorrow, we take the person inside the car. We blindfold the person. We drive, along that street, and we tell the person later, "Do you know where we just passed through? The hospital." Okay. Another day, we go to the hospital. Gradually, we flood the person. We can also use systematic desensitization. Okay, you desensitize the mind of the person gradually, so that until the person overcomes that phobia. Yeah, that's that about that. Okay, let's go to another one. Traumatic disorder, very important. PTSD is always towards traumatic events. Let's say someone was raped, for instance, and the person remembers those those things that happened, how she was manhandled, how she was abused, how she was slapped, how she was forced into, and all of that. So the person remembers those events, and it's a problem to the person. It can also happen to a man. A man can also be raped. It's not only ladies. Okay, so that's PTSD. Another one that's related is post-traumatic embitterment disorder. This one is towards the person that caused that traumatic event. Do you get that now? So the person is embittered towards the person that made him or her to undergo that stress. It may be embitterment towards an employer. If a person loses a job and is embittered towards the employer, embittered towards the government, embittered towards your parents because they did something you don't like, and all of that. That's PTED. Okay, another one is acute stress disorder, ASD. That one occurs in the first month of a traumatic event. It looks like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, but it only becomes PTSD if it persists longer than 1 month. Okay, after a traumatic event, the person will have ASD, that is acute stress disorder, that first month. Now, if the person now continues to have it after 1 month, that means it has led to PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Do we get that now? Do we get that?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Hope I'm not saying too much. Hope you are
Sorry,
following.
can you go over the PTSD again, sir, please?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. PTSD is traumatic stress disorder. That's PTSD. And I said it's a post-traumatic challenge that people have after a bad event, after a traumatic event has happened to them. And it's always directed towards the event, towards the event itself. And I use the example of rape. So it means the person is remembering the event, not necessarily the people that caused the event. Do you understand? So the person is remembering how she suffered, abuse, how she was forced into how they raped her, how she was slapped, So those things are coming as a form of flash, how all those things were happening, and the person was, is sorry for herself. The person is tired about life. That why would this thing happen to me? The person may even be blaming herself. Why was I at that time, at that place, at that particular time? So it's always towards the event itself. And I said the one that is similar to it is PTED, post-traumatic embitterment disorder. This one is directed towards those people that caused the event, like the person that raped her, or the person that made her lose the job, or the person that maltreated her when she was a child, or the person that insulted her. Okay, so that's PTED. So the person is embittered towards the people that caused the experience. Do you understand? It means a person can have PTSD without being without any anger or embitterment towards the people that caused it. Do you understand? Maybe she has forgiven the people, but she still remembers the event, and it makes the events make her sad. That's PTSD. But when the person is angry or embittered towards the people that cause it, that's PTED. Do we understand? It's just a slight difference between the two of them. Okay. And I said ASD is the one that first happens before PTSD. The first month that the person was raped, or the first month the person lost the job, or the first month that the person lost a child, something like that. That first month the person will have ASD, acute stress disorder. So it is when it now prolongs to the following month, to another month, to another month, that it has led to PTSD. Do we understand now? Okay. All right. So number 8 that I have here is loss of memory, thought, or speech coordination. Loss of memory, thought, or speech coordination, and it presents itself in the form of dementia. That's a very common one. Dementia. Then Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease. Okay, it's another one. They are different, even though they are related. They are closely related, and the best way to explain the difference is that Alzheimer's disease causes dementia, but dementia doesn't cause Alzheimer's disease. Do you understand now? Okay, it means that when someone has Alzheimer's disease, the person can exhibit some other symptoms that are different from dementia symptoms. Do we get that now? All right. So it means Alzheimer's disease encompasses dementia and other things. Why dementia majorly happens to old people. Yes, old people majorly. It leads to loss of memory. They can't coordinate their speech. They can't finish daily tasks. Their thought pattern. So the best thing to handle that is to make sure that people are there. They are presently, at the moment, I don't think there is a known cure for dementia, but it can be managed, especially when people surrounding the person are caring, they are loving, they have the time to help the person. Okay, then there are some homes, elderly homes, that take care of people like that. I think there is a clinic. There is a clinic in hospitals, general hospitals, or teaching hospitals. They call, I think, geriatric department or something like that. They take care of old people like that. Is that clear? All right. This one I want to talk about is very interesting. Excessive demanding or dependent behavior. Excessive demanding or dependent behavior. So if you have someone that begs, habitual begging or borrowing, you have someone that borrows without even needing that thing. He just want to borrow because he sees that the other person has in excess, and he says, let me borrow, let me beg for it. And he doesn't need it, like that. He doesn't necessarily need it. Like, he's just borrowing or begging all the time. It's a problem. Okay, it's a mental problem. Okay, habitual stealing. The person doesn't even need it, or the thing that the person is stealing is even too small. What happens to this person that is stealing? So habitual stealing, habitual coveting, excessive acquiring. This happens to our politicians. Things that they don't need, they are acquiring. These things that they will not even need for the next 50 years, 100 years, they are acquiring. It may be a mental. That's why people in political office should even be checked. At times, some of them have psychological problem. They have a psychiatric problem without knowing it. Okay, so that's that. So if you have found yourself in all of that or in any of that, it means that maybe that was your time, or in 5 minutes of exhibiting that. But when it is now getting too much, that's when it has become a problem. Finally, disruptive behavior and the social disorder. And this one is what we call aggressive behavior or violent behavior. And that's what I'm working on. During my master's days in UI, Professor GRM, some of you are in UI, you will know him, was my supervisor, and that's what we worked on, how personality types affect aggressive behavior in students. Okay, so I worked on aggressive behavior, and now in the US, what I'm working on for my PhD is how to curb violent behavior in young people. So it's a problem. You see people disrupting things, destroying things. See them among these thugs, political thugs, and all of that all around, killing people or destroying things. And it's a problem. It's a mental problem. Someone asked, can stealing be spiritual? Yes, everything can be spiritual. All what I discussed about can also be spiritual, but it is not that every time they are spiritual. I hope you got me right. Because see, before anything happens in the physical, there is a spiritual explanation to it. It has happened in the spiritual realm, and but I don't want to turn this class to a spiritual class. Yes, I'm a pastor. I'm an ordained minister of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. So I'm a reverend, but I don't want to talk this. I don't want to turn this class to a church. You understand now? Now, yes, there can be a spiritual undertone to everything we do on the surface of the earth, but that doesn't mean that when they happen, always that they are spiritual. So I don't want you to say if anytime it happens, all of you say let Tony, all of you let Tony. No. At times when we even pray, we should combine it with medical attention, medical therapy interventions and all of that. Are you getting me now? Proudly Baptist, okay, that's fine. All right, so yeah, it can be spiritual. I've seen people who steal unnecessarily because they want to be put to shame and all of that. And if there is anyone like that here, or you have a relative like that, I pray that there will be healing coming upon the person right now in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, so but at times it can be psychological. It can be, just a touch in the person's, brains, and that needs to be corrected, and that will be all. Okay. Or the person just needs counseling. That what you have is enough for you, or when you need, there are people that you should talk to. You don't need to steal. All right. So that's the end of the discussion from my side. Yeah, any contribution? I know that we have gone past the time by 2 minutes, but we can spend the next 3 or 5 minutes to do questions and answers or contributions. All right, let me hear from you. Buki Ayola, yes. Buki Ayola,
Yes, sir. Well done, sir.
thank you.
Please, sir, can we call someone that is addicted to alcohol? Can we call it well, what did you call that thing? Can we call it spiritual something, or is it natural? Excessive alcohol, addicted to alcohol.
Okay,
Even to the
yeah,
extent that if the person doesn't even have money, if they offer him the alcohol, he will just
yeah,
take it and drink excessively.
yeah,
Can we
yeah,
even call that one spiritual, or
yeah.
is it physical?
Spiritual problem. Yeah, I know what you are talking about. I've had friends who would, I remember I used to have some friends who would even go and steal a woman's cigarette because they wanted to smoke. They will go and steal Matology cigar, mama, because they wanted to smoke. Yeah, you see people, they don't have money, go and borrow, or they go and take alcohol in credit, say alcohol. Yes, I told you. All those things, you see them as spiritual problem because it has become an addiction. You don't know the meaning of addiction. When something is addiction, if you don't do it, it's as if you want to die. Do you understand? So, many a times, it is not a spiritual problem. It's just the person is just addicted to it. If you are beating the person, he will still go and do it until that thing is corrected. See, everything we are doing, we are being coordinated by the central nervous system. It's as though something is telling you, go and do it, go and do it. It is you won't know when you are doing it. It's after you have done it, you say, no, I was just, what happened to me? I just, I'm fine now and all of that. Yes, but I told you it can be a spiritual problem too. But, in Africa, majorly some things that people are passing through can be corrected early. It's because they didn't present themselves for therapy that it now led to, addiction, and they can come, they can come out of it. It is when you have gone for therapies, when the person has gone for medical intervention and all of that, that the problem was not solved, that you can now conclude by saying, okay, maybe it is spiritual, but I prefer that the two should go hand in hand. Pray for the person, then continue the intervention medically, and let's see how it goes. So it can be, yes, but I believe, I'm a strong believer, because I'm also a scientist. You understand? Even though I'm a pastor, I'm also a scientist. So I believe in interventions. And I'm also a social scientist. Apart from the fact that I did biology, I also relate with people. I know that people can do some things willingly, and they call it spiritual problem. At times they can do it unwillingly because it's a psychological problem. So that's it. All right. So let me see if I can answer. Sir, I have phobia for balloons, height, and lightning. Wow. For balloons? Sandra, wow. I'm hearing that for the first time. Balloons. Okay. Yeah, you can overcome it gradually. Like, I think I told you what to do. Gradually, you can expose yourself. For it, my little son, for instance, the first time we gave him a teddy bear, he was running away. Then gradually, as we were introducing the teddy bear to him as a friend, now he loves teddy bear, hugging it and all of that. So gradually, you can overcome it, especially by looking at people who are doing it and nothing is happening to them. You understand? So that courage can come gradually. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for the lecture. My question is that at what point can we call something an addiction, sir? Yeah, we can call it addiction at the point that you can control yourself. When a voice tells you do something and you can say, no, I don't want to do it, it has become addiction. Okay. And it's, when someone is addicted, the person is close to having suicidal thoughts. And if the suicidal thought comes, the person will not be able to restrict it. At times a voice will say, go and buy a sniper, take it home, open it, drink it, and all of that. So if the person cannot say, no, I stop in the name of, at times, yeah, this is the way your spiritual life can also help. Okay. This thing at times is a voice that you hear, and I'm explaining the spiritual aspect of it now. It's a voice that tells you to do something, some things are not. The best way to confront it is by speaking the word of God. Either you are a Muslim or you are a Christian or whatever you do, the word that you can speak against it, that will make that voice to go away, is what you should do. And that's what Jesus Christ did when he fasted, and after the fasting and prayer, the devil came. It is not necessarily a physical devil, it's a voice was coming, do this, do that, do this, do that, and said, no, it is written. It is written. It is written. All right. So if you speak a word, you see, this life, you need to be bold. You need to be strong. This life obeys only those who can look at the devil in the eye and say, I dare you. You cannot do this. Do you understand? If you are not that bold, life will cheat you. Are you getting me? People like us, it doesn't mean we don't have challenges. Look at me. I've lost a child before. My first daughter, we lost her. And we, my wife and I are counselors. We are counseling psychologists and all of that. But we also went through our own moments of, challenges. It came to a time that my wife was into, denial, as if nothing happened. She said that it didn't happen. That we should even go to the burial ground, the grave, and check whether because we were not there when the child was buried. So she said we should go there. Maybe when after the burial, maybe she woke up and someone in the neighborhood took her, that we should go and check the neighborhood. You can imagine what she was going through. But because I understood what she was going through, I said, no problem, don't worry, we will go there. I knew that would be the peak of the healing for us. So, and we looked for someone that was there during the burial, that took us there. We went there, we took flowers to the site, we prayed, and that was the peak of our healing. By the time we got home, we were fine. Do you understand now? So that doesn't mean we don't go through challenges of life too, but because we have learned that challenges of life are meant for human beings, not for non-living things. Challenges or even animals, even lower animals and all that, they are also passing through their own challenges. How much more human beings that were created in the image of God? There will be challenges. That's what the Bible says. Jesus Christ said there will be challenges, but that it should be of good cheer, that have overcome the world. He said, in this world you will have tribulations. The Yoruba version says, not that some people will say that you will see tribulation, not that you will see tribulation, you will have it. But in all of that, be of good cheer, be bold, be strong, speak the word of God, confront it, with boldness, and before you know it, it just fades out. Do you understand now? So that's how to overcome all those things using spiritual life, and that's why you must also be strong in the word of God. All right. I think challenges of life are meant for, yes, they are meant for human beings. What can I do to help someone that has not, let me read this, sorry, I omitted this, sorry. Please, sir, can we call a noisy person an addiction? A noisy person, that the person just, likes noise, or that wants to, I don't know, that's not an addiction, that's stupidity. If the person is, that's a disturbance, and that can be stupid. When you are disturbing people in the neighborhood and they are telling you, reduce your voice, and you keep doing, that's not addiction. That's if the person is not emotionally intelligent. Yes, the person doesn't have emotional intelligence to deal with people in the surrounding. You must be able to look at the welfare of others around you, especially if they are complaining that what you are doing is bad. You must reduce. Then I have phobia for dark environment. Like when an environment is dark, lonely, or is looking deserted, I get scared when going through that. Yeah, I understand. Darkness is not good. Don't let us that, whether it's an addiction or darkness, is not good. It's in our continent in Africa that we have learned how to deal with darkness. Darkness is not good in whatever form it comes. So how can we solve it? When there is darkness, get out of the darkness, look for lights, and continue with your life. What can I do to help someone that has phobia for birds, hens, chickens? I also have phobia for it. I won't call it phobia. I don't like killing hens. I don't like even touching them and all of that. Maybe because of some experiences I had during childhood that I won't be able to share because of time. Someone slaughtered a hen beside me, and he was afraid. He threw it away, and the body, the head went away, the body went away, and the body was running after the person when I was a child. And remembering that experience, I don't want to find myself in such an experience. So I don't like slaughtering birds or taking. Even the young ones, chicks, I don't like touching them. So I don't know how to overcome them. If you can avoid them, or you can gradually, the people that handle them, you can tell them to teach you how to do that. Challenges of, okay, now, is eating frequently more than normal when depressed a mental disorder? Yes, it's a mental disorder. It's an eating disorder. I've talked about that before. What can be done to someone that changes mood all the time? She switches from being happy around people to being sad almost at the same time. Yeah, it may be a mental issue. What can be done to such a person? Let the person present him or herself for therapy, or listen to more, what the next sessions will look like, and see whether there will be solutions. But majorly, let the person go for therapy, let the person be helped. Another problem is that many people that have this mood swing, they don't want to be helped. He said, that's the way I am. That's my personality. That's the way I am. That's who I am. You should take me for who I am. If who you are is bad, then you need to change it. You need to look for help. Do you understand? So another thing is that some people don't want to be helped. So you just agree that you have a problem. I've shared my own problem with you. That everybody has, challenges of life at one point in time or the other. So, but look for people that will help you. That time that I said we lost our child, people were there for us, our mentors, people that could be there, people that talk to us. There was a time they went to camp us at the Nigerian Baptist Convention. There is a guest house in Ogbomoso at the NBT, at the Nigerian Baptist Convention. I mean, the Nigerian Baptist Theological Seminary in Ogbomoso. We went there, spent 2 days there for retreat, and by the time we came out of it, we were fine. Do you understand? So the problem is that many people don't want help. Okay, so especially in relationship, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance or fiancé, that has a mood swing or that has, this personality disorder, and they say you should take me for who I am. No, I want to live with you for the rest of my life. I won't take you for who you are. Especially when there is time for you to change. You can change before we get married. Those are the things you should tell them. Look for help. Let me help you get books. There is a book on personality type, temperament and all of that by Tim Laye and other books like that. Read books, go for counseling and all of that before you get married. Do you understand? When you get married, you may not be able to change many things, but before you get married, get help. Even when you are already married, you can still get help. You can still help each other. You can still go for counseling, and the solution will come. Is that fine? All right. God bless you. I think we are, except if the organizers or the moderator is giving us more time. Are you giving us more time for people to ask questions?
I'm not sure, Mr. Sunday. That actually depends.
Yeah, why
on
you act the
when,
way you do by Tim Lai?
because I'm finding this section very interesting.
Yeah, it's
Especially
always
the
like
fact
that, and that's why I didn't want to waste my time yesterday too much,
believe
because I
me,
know that today.
yeah, especially the aspect of differentiating between the behavioral traits and the addictions, because
Yeah,
majority of us can't even differentiate. I
yeah,
mean, the part of the country where we come from, a lot of us, even the personality disorders and all of that.
yeah.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
welcome. Welcome, ma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the
So
kind words. All right, so I think I'm done. So you should take it over from me. I want to also get prepared for church. It's just
very much.
8:16 a.m. here.
Yeah, that was an amazing section.
Yeah,
There is no doubt everyone really enjoyed this section. I have no doubt at all. Because when Sandra was talking about phobia, having
yeah,
phobia for height, then I was
yeah,
like, I think it's like almost 94% of us in Africa that have phobia for height.
yeah, yeah,
Especially when you are going through the bridge.
yeah,
I remember when I was very young. Oh my God, I would just hold my mom very tight. Mom, I can't do this. You need to hold
yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm gonna fall. So it's just something we all need to come
yeah,
together to fight, because those are
yeah.
normal things. And I
That's
also enjoyed the aspect where you said, every one of us will have challenges. And
yes.
I'm so sorry that you had to deal with, the loss of your child.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I know it wasn't that easy, but because of your professionalism and
Yeah,
your knowledge, having understanding of seeking counseling, despite the fact that you are even a counselor yourself,
yeah,
is something that I find very, very interesting.
yeah.
Because
Counselors also need counselors.
we
Counselors also
do,
need counseling.
we
So
do. I was telling Debbie yesterday that because I lost two of my sisters previously, and I
oh,
recently lost one about not up to 2 years. And I thought, I bounced back already. And I never realized that I still go everywhere with the pains because I missed her so much. She was
mm,
like a best friend, you understand? And I never seek counseling. I grieved. I developed the coping mechanism for myself, but I
mm-hmm.
never seek counseling. But to be
Oh,
honest, I told Debbie that I went for an interview, and it was a fellow counselor that interviewed me, and she looked at me that, oh my goodness, you are so innovative, you're brilliant, but you
mm,
have pains all over you, and you have to go and deal with that.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
have never seen, yeah. And I thought I'm overheat already. You can imagine that. So it's something we all should be aware of. Honestly,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
Uh,
good to bottle some emotions, and those things will, in the future, those things will come up again, and that's when it becomes a problem. It's better that when it happens, you
mm,
immediately go for counseling and let it end like that. Have a closure and move on with your life.
yeah. And this is kind of a relieving section for me because I believe I can do it myself.
Yeah.
But you giving a testimony how you are able to seek, support from other counselors and families, friends. And this is the Western world that you don't even have people to console you. And
Yeah.
funny enough, my mom lives here with me. So I bottled up every of my emotions. I really do not
Mm,
want her to know, to be affected. And
mm,
that impacted more on my mental well-being. And I never
yeah.
realized that. You can imagine. So
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna reach out to you also. I'll reach out
Um,
to you. I followed you yesterday on
yes. On
LinkedIn. So
LinkedIn. Yeah, I
yeah,
saw. I saw you.
yeah. So I'll reach out to you after
Oh,
this section. Yeah.
no
Thank you
problem.
very much, Mr. Akode.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and dear students, I'm sure you all enjoyed this. So
Yes, ma.
I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm sure you'll be here next week. And as we continue,
Yes, ma.
oh, amazing. As we continue to the end of this lecture, factors affecting mental health.
Say hi.
Yeah,
Hi. Say
I will
hi.
have to take a moment to extend
Hello.
my heartfelt
Say
gratitude
hi to everyone.
to okay. But before we conclude, please let us extend our special thank you to Mr. Akonde, Mr. Sunday Akonde, who has played a significant role in making this lecture possible. Mr. Akonde, thank you very much. We express
You're
our
Thank you
welcome.
so much, sir. We are
You're welcome.
grateful. God bless you, sir.
Amen.
we
Thank you
appreciate
very
your commitment to promoting mental health awareness and education in our community. This
Yeah.
is truly commendable.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. And then to the young professor at the back there, please kindly send my regards to him for his support, and to Madam also for her support as well. Our kind gratitude goes to all your family. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you to everyone who has attended. Thank you for this session, for being patient and, for your understanding. Thank you so much for what you are doing at Stop Mental Illness Foundation. Thank
Mhm.
you. Regards to everyone, regards from my family and to everyone. God bless you. I see
Thank
you
you.
in some other places. All right.
Yeah,
Bye.
sure. Sure. So to everyone, let us carry the knowledge we have gained from this lecture, as a catalyst for positive change. Let us be champions for mental health, breaking down stigma and building supportive community. I believe, like I always say to everyone, we can create an environment where everyone feels comfortable seeking help, where resources are accessible, and where mental health is prioritized. Thank you very much, everyone. And do not forget, if you want to learn more about mental health, you can visit our website, www.smhelpnigerian.org. And also don't forget to visit all our social media platforms as well. Follow us, share all our content. Like that, we can all be part of this positive change. Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you next week.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful
Thank you.
evening.